This completely changes how we view the Toronto Raptors, as a lot of eyes have been on this Summer League team over 2 games and watching the young guys develop. How are the second round picks playing? How are these undrafted free agents playing? The Raptors have done well with them. We had a lottery pick this year. How is CMB looking in his first performance? And of course, we are going to dive into all of that. But there is one thing that not only changes how we view the young guys, the Summer League team, but the Toronto Raptors as a whole. And it's one development that, frankly, has me way more excited to watch this Toronto Raptors team. And I'm a Raptors homer. I love this squad, but this has taken my anticipation, my excitement for this upcoming season to another level. And no, I don't know if this Toronto Raptors team is going to be, a top team in the Eastern Conference, is going to shock everyone in terms of the win-loss column. But this Raptors team has completely flipped their identity upside down. This team is playing with energy. This team is playing with fight. This team is playing with a level of defensive intensity that cannot be ignored. It cannot be something you push to the side, be like, oh, it's just Summer League, Ben, you're overreacting. All fans that care about this are overreacting, whatever the heck it is. There are 7, 8 guys out here on this Raptors team in Summer League that are going to be on this roster. And maybe more. And they make up the identity of the squad. Yes, watching these games, the offensive end can get a bit ugly. But on the actual NBA team, we have Scottie Barnes. We have Brandon Ingram coming in, one of the most smooth offensive players in the entire NBA. We have RJ Barrett, who averaged 21 points per game. IQ, who we haven't really got to see yet play on this Raptors squad in terms of, being healthy for a long stretch of time. Offense will come together. But defensively, the bench, the intensity, you got guys like Jamison Battle now, who, watching him in Summer League last year, you would be like, okay, well, he can knock down the three, but he's never going to be a defensive back. Jamison Battle's picking up people, full court, getting into their grill, making defensive impact plays. The script has been flipped. We are looking at a completely different Toronto Raptors team than we've seen in the past. I mean, we take a look at the stats. We can dive into the stat lines. We can dive into what's going on with the squad, right? And there's so much to get excited about with this team. But literally everyone out there on the basketball court that's playing, and we'll talk about the offense of the floor, but Jacoby Walter looks like he is on another level defensively with the added muscle to his team. The Shed heads, there might be some questions. I'll talk about some of the concerns from this game because it wasn't a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. And Jamal Shead offensively, the jump shot, he had some nice ones for sure, but there's still some question marks in regard to his jump shooting. Jamal Shead is into everyone, every single possession, and it feels like even more so than he was last year. So Shead is playing with a level of intensity that's carrying over to everyone. CMB, this was an up and down roller coaster game for CMB. I want to dive into him a lot in this video, but defensively, another level. There's a bunch of videos, there's a bunch of stuff in regards to Bryant, Carter Bryant out there for the San Antonio Spurs, saying, oh yeah, he's elite defensive. He's this. There's a bunch of those plays you could take it from CMB, and a lot of these Toronto Raptors guys this entire game. Like, the Toronto Raptors have the most elite on-ball defense I've ever seen out of a Summer League team here right now, and it's back-to-back games, right? If we look at the stat lines, the box scores, yes, it was an ugly game both ways, but the Raptors once again forced 29 turnovers. 29 turnovers in this game. This Raptors team, the calling card, the identity, how this team is, what Bobby Webster's putting together in the draft and all the signings and everything he's trying to do. We are a defensive nightmare. We are a nightmare. Teams are horrified to go against the Toronto Raptors. 34 and then 29 turnovers in back-to-back games. That is a level of defensive production that is unheard of out there in the NBA. So, all these guys playing off the bench, Elijah Martin, didn't knock down his threes tonight, but you see his impact at the defensive end. When a guy is going 1 for 7 from the field, but is a plus 14 for the game, that's a signal in terms of the little things they're doing out there on the basketball court. Ulrich Shamshay is going to be playing with the big club. I know Colin Castleton, and we'll probably get in some roster decisions there, but Shamshay stole the show in terms of minutes, in terms of production out there on the Summer League team from Colin Castleton, and I don't expect him to be in that mix for, that final roster spot. Chucky Hepburn, the confidence is on another level with this guy, but defensively, I'm starting this all off with defensive impact. Like Hepburn, Lawson, everyone. Jonathan Bobo, who randomly came off the bench in this game, but all of these dudes, all of them, every single one of them, came out and played with some defensive intensity. That's what we want to see. That's what you want to see from this Raptors squad, because everyone's overpaid on the Toronto Raptors. What are they doing? They don't have an identity. I don't know. If we can build around the fact that, in our starting lineup, because Scottie Barnes and Jakob Poeltl are already elite defensive players. We know this. We have Brandon giving quotes, which I'll probably cover tomorrow, but saying he needs to match this level of intensity the Raptors are playing with. We don't know what's going to happen with IQ and RJ Barrett. When the next president of basketball operations come in, that's what decisions will be made. But, IQ, RJ Barrett, if one of those guys aren't playing with that intensity, I mean, literally anyone that's played in this summer league can come in and step in and break things down, right? Jacoby Walter, intense on defense right now, right? Elijah Martin, Chucky Hepburn, Jamal Shead, all of these dudes can come out and just give you minutes and hound the other team. And then, you complement that with the offensive firepower of, Scottie Barnes, of Brandon Ingram, of an RJ Barrett, all these dudes. Like, there is going to be some really, really impactful moments out there on the squad. Gradey Dick as well. I am just elated with this style of basketball. It's so fun to watch. It's so fun to watch when the refs aren't blowing whistles every single second. But dive into the specifics. The first guy everyone wants to talk about is going to be CMB, the player-specific stuff. And tonight, stat line wasn't absolutely all over the place, but, had 8 points, 8 fouls, and 5 turnovers, which is concerning, but 7 rebounds, 8 points, 1 assist, 3 steals. He was playing a level of defensive intensity. It was great. There were some weird fouls that were going on. There was a couple tough air balls. Now, he did knock down a 3, but his foot was out of bounds, so it didn't count. So that's one thing to be encouraged about. But the jump shot it's as advertised, right? We knew with CMB, he's going to be an elite defensive player, but a guy that's going to need some polish, need some work out there on the offensive end. Not too stressed about any of the negatives and stuff. You probably like to see the turnover style down, but makes sense. Rookie coming in, high expectations, playing with a level of intensity, energy. It's a little bit beyond himself. So the fouls and turnovers were an indication of that in tonight's game. But, Jacoby Walter, I thought, had a smooth outing. It was hot for stretches, cold for stretches, but the entire time playing intense, driving to the rim. Didn't make all of his buckets around the rim the same way he did in, the early game, the first game of the Toronto Raptors in Summer League. But, he's looking more confident around the basket. So that's a positive there, especially where the Toronto Raptors, the Raptors have an interesting style right now. One mid-range jump shot made for this Raptors team, in this game here today. It's a wild shot chart. So, everything's either inside the paint or beyond the three-point line, and one of them was from Jamal Shead. Jacoby Walter, I wouldn't mind getting some touches, getting some shots around that mid-range area to get his game going, right? And this is the one thing everyone forgets about, the analytics and the numbers of basketball. Hot hand is a legit thing. The hot hand theory being debunked was proven undebunked. It was double debunked. That paper in terms of the hot hand theory is legit. It is a thing. And Jacoby Walter is just one of those guys. We see it in this game, gets into rhythms, gets out of rhythms and stuff like most, microwave scores out there in the NBA. If he could just take some of those middies, man, he's got a smooth jumper. Right, I think that might be an asset of his game that could be utilized, but it's a different direction of the NBA. But we'll talk about that more as the season goes along. Shead in this one again, it's the biggest Jamal Shead apologist, lover, whatever the heck you want to call fanboy. The Sheadhead's like, hey, press the button correctly. I spam a pretty well every video, but tonight had some. There's from the eye test of these games. Right, there's misses, and tonight, the stats don't show great numbers there for Shead. 5 of 9 from the free throw line, 2 of 7 from the field. You could look at that and be like, oh, it's an off night, he had some close shots. A lot of these were like front rim, like the outside of the front rim, not like, in and out, which you usually see from the more elite shooters out there in the game. And for Jamal Shead to really take his game, to really be in contention, to steal that starting spot away from Immanuel Quickley, is just for him to be able to knock down shots. And I'm a believer in Jamal Shead. I believe he can get there, and some of his jumpers do look smooth, but the misses are still a little bit ugly right now. So you want to see him still improve and progress in that area. Jamison Bell didn't get really any clean looks tonight. A lot of his shots were off the dribble. One of the weaker offensive games we've seen from him in any summer league performance, but brought it defensively, which I'm encouraged by. Off the bench, Mobo, I thought really played a good game. 12 points in this one, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. He's looking a lot more smooth out there in the basketball court. Last season, Mobo had a lot of stretches where, and I say this consistently because he gets the Precious Achiuwa comparison a ton, but Jonathan Mobo has a great feel for the game in terms of basketball IQ, in terms of making the right passes. He's just a really intelligent basketball player, but sometimes he plays a little bit beyond himself. He's a little bit too fast for his own good. So tonight and like over the course of the two summer league games, he's a lot smoother with his handle. He's slashing the rim a little bit. He's doing a lot of just nice things out there on the basketball court. Of course, it's not perfect. We knew Mobo was going to be a little bit of a project to come into his own as a basketball player, but I've been encouraged by what I've seen from the two games summer league, especially with him coming off the bench in this one. So that was good to see, as well as Elijah Barton's defense did knock down a ton of threes. It was whatever, but the guy that really is stapling his spot in the Toronto Raptors team right now is AJ Lawson, who 5-5 from the field, 2-2 from the free throw, from the 3-point line, 9 of 13 from the free throw stripe, 21 points, 2 steals, 2 really nice steals, 2 blocks, and 3 assists, 5 boards. Like our guy out there in terms of AJ Lawson. I was impressed with him in the back half of last season. Again, the jumper wasn't super consistent, but he's knocking it down in Summer League. He's playing with poise. He's playing with confidence. He's coming off the bench in the Summer League team and just being able to give a spark of offense to the squad. He deserves that final roster spot. I know we have Roddy. I know we have Castleton. I know we have a bunch of guys fighting for that position. We can take a look at the depth chart here right now. I got a like spike going out there this vid. But, in terms of fight for that spot, like, you have Roddy, Castleton that are the two main guys out there in the mix. Like, AJ Lawson deserves it. He deserves it. He's playing at a level. I think he can actually be an impact player for this team, especially if this team's dealing with some injuries. So, or if trades happen or whatever the heck's on the go. So, very, very impressed with AJ Lawson. Impressed with this Toronto Raptors team. Nice to get another win again in this summer league here right now. Let me know what you guys thought of the game in the comment section down below. You guys are the best to make it this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. We are on that road. I mean, if you made it this far, we are so close to 39,000 subscribers. The big goal is 40. But we are so close to 39,000 subscribers. If you've made it here and you're not subscribed, hit that button down below. It's free and it helps us out a ton. So anyways, you guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.